a man came to visit his best friend and noticed something strange, not seen in just a few years. Yes, it was convenient and made a fortune, live in a mansion and drink famous wine, extremely dashing, but he's obviously just a bad cook. This makes the same chef, but the skilled Ryan was frustrated. He's nominally here to visit a friend. In fact, there is nowhere to hide due to huge debts. In the end, they can only go to other countries to defect to each other. Seeing my best friend living so rich now, Ryan also wants to join. Let the other party bring themselves. Jack says he's now a private chef who cooks for the wealthy, but never mentioned the specific content. More strictly refused to let him not join. But Ryan was desperate. Although he has run away, but he has family. The debt collector threatened to, if he doesn't pay back the money, his mother will suffer a little bit. There's no way Ryan can only take advantage of his friends when they go out to work. Look for clues to each other's fortune, but after a few days of searching, still nothing, and he found the standard of living extremely low. It doesn't look like there is a rich man who can afford his luxury life, but the other party's high expenses are not fraudulent. Alice eating. It can be seen directly that Jack's watch is expensive. Unleash the advantage now. Warmly approach. Then they return to the mansion together logically. Spend the spring festival with it. But it's this dashing day. Jack is still troubled. Late at night, talking to Ryan, he suddenly said, "Glad."
Here, man. I've been seriously missing home a lot.
I'm glad I came too.
Ryan didn't care. A perfunctory sentence. But the next day, he saw his best friend hang himself. Although he didn't know why the other party was so extreme. But after a brief period of sadness, something suddenly occurred to him. Jack didn't have any family, then he can't. Silently swallowing the legacy of friends. Thinking of this, he immediately sank the body that night. Then, ready to transfer all Jack's money to his account, but suddenly remembered that he didn't know the other party's payment password, and just having his ID card cannot be modified online. The bank requires that you must handle it offline with your certificate. Seeing a lot of money in the account, but not getting it, Ryan can only make his mind about the mansion, then go out to inquire. He sees if he can sell the house by means of means. But when he came back, he found a car parked at the door. He nervously walked into the house to check the situation, but the person who came directly recognized him as Jack. Apparently the other party has never met the friend. Ryan immediately disguised himself as Jack and started talking. Original. The two are the direct leaders of Jack's catering company. They delegate the work. Ryan listened. Immediately asked if you can pay part of your salary in advance, just because today is the deadline for debt collectors.
Yeah, no problem, we can advance you. How much did you need?
Ryan tries to name the amount he owes. He didn't expect the other party to pay directly without saying a word. He repaid it so easily, the debt that has been plaguing it. But now he has to be troubled by new problems. The other party asked how the ingredients were selected. Knowing nothing, he can only lie that he hasn't chosen yet.
What have you been doing?
It turns out that tomorrow is the day the customer eats. They're here to make sure nothing goes wrong, but it's too late to hold accountable. The two could only quickly take Ryan out to buy ingredients. But they didn't go to the market. Instead, he parked the car directly in front of the church. Imogen said one day, "Can't find out at all. Do the ingredients of bad habits such as drug use, so believers, is the best choice at the moment." Only then did Ryan realize that the ingredients mentioned by the other party were actually human. He finally understands. Why is there so much money just cooking? Thinking of this dumbfounded, he instinctively wanted to refuse. But what Imogen said next made his scalp tingle.
A bad dish from you and your life will end. Is that clear enough?
There was no way Ryan could only endure his fear and agree. Then the next morning, Detective Ruiz brought him to the church again, to ensure the freshness of the ingredients to the greatest extent. They usually hunt on the same day. Detective Ruiz asked him to look for a chef. No way. Ryan can only follow his fingers. A little girl passing by. Detective Ruiz saw this and immediately drove up. After a long time, the other party finally entered a remote village. The two also got out of the car and were ready to start. But when they got closer, they found that the person had disappeared. The emergency made them both a little confused. Just then, a guy walked out of the repair shop to inquire about the situation. Detective Ruiz immediately looked at Ryan meaningfully. He nodded after thinking about it. Detective Ruiz lied about his car breaking down. They want to ask him to help them go over and see what's going on. Men don't think much of it. Went directly with the two. But when he got under the car to check, Detective Ruiz immediately pulled out his pistol and installed a silencer. Then quickly get down. One shot to the head. The whole process was a clean one. Apparently not the first time hunting, but this is the moment. The little girl led the police over. Fortunately, they didn't see what happened just now. The little girl only noticed that the two were following her. Be cautious and call the police. Detective Ruiz immediately called the architects, exploring where to sit for the new hotel. After saying that, He handed the business card over, finally came close. After completing the ingredient hunting plan and returning, the two men quickly dragged the body into the basement. Look at the dazzling array of dismemberment tools inside. Ryan only then understood why the basement was kept locked and under the aggressive gaze of the other party. So he started working his own dinner. After vomiting several times, Ryan finally breaks down the ingredients. As soon as he started working, he had the idea of running away. But after the other party, as the evidence of his guilt, finally revealed his true colors, only in the box, there is a new ID card named Jack, except for the avatar change to Ryan. Everything else is the same as your dead friend. Now he can finally inherit Jack's inheritance smoothly. But it also proves that the other party has long known that Ryan is a fake. The company's superpowers make him dare not mess around. We have to fight our fears and work for them. Imogen was very pleased with Ryan's attitude. He proposes that the client wants to use his tongue for dessert tonight. Soon, customers were entering the store after dark night. But right now, accidents happen suddenly. The sheriff actually brought the daytime police officers. Find the door according to the business card address. It turns out that shortly after Detective Ruiz left, the village found that the boy was missing, and Ryan is the only suspicious person in the vicinity today. Imogen tried to defend himself.
Can I ask you why you think he's missing? It's only been a day. Perhaps he took off. A spontaneous adventure.
The sheriff sneered directly. It turned out that the deceased happened to be the sheriff's nephew. He made sure that the other party had no possibility of traveling, and Imogen understood that there was no such thing as kindness. But at this time Detective Ruiz was receiving distinguished guests in front. He had no choice but to lead the two to meet Ryan first. The sudden appearance of the police made him nervous, and because during the day Detective Ruiz claimed they were architects, sheriff, and he asked a bunch of questions about architecture. Unprepared, he's even more hesitant to answer. Fortunately, Imogen explained that Ryan had just started his career, fooled the past, and under the cover of luxurious clothing and exquisite mansions. The sheriff didn't think so either. The other party is really a villain who will attack ordinary people. After questioning Detective Ruiz to no avail, also decided to leave. But right now, the big client actually invited him to stay for dinner. The sheriff pondered and accepted. After Imogen saw things go wrong again, hurry up and ask about the situation. It turned out that, after learning that the other party was the family of the ingredients, the customers all wanted to see it. The scene during the sheriff's meal. Looking at him without knowing it, he kept praising while eating. Several people got that perverted satisfaction, but Imogen was watching with trepidation. And this is the moment. Detective Ruiz has some bad news. Someone claiming to be Jack's friend is visiting. Original. It's Alice who had a spring night with Jack a while ago. Imogen was going to dismiss him, but Alice insisted on seeing Jack. Otherwise don't go. There's no way Imogen can only hand her over to Ryan to solve it.
Jack, we have another guest.
Is she staying for dinner?
No, Detective Royce. You need to get rid of her. Do it now, Jack.
Why should call you Jack?
Ryan quickly announced that Jack had left the company. Now he will take the place of the friend's work, and said he was busy right now. Tell the other party to leave quickly. But as long as you have money and no girls, it doesn't matter who is. Jack has been pestering Ryan and refuses to leave. No way. Ryan can only let her go to the corner for a while. When he finished his work, he would definitely take care of her. On the other hand, Imogen finally received good news. The sheriff ate to the fullest. Let the police go first. Even if it is a business, there is only one other party, and it is easy to control. But soon she heard the bad news again. It was supposed to be the last one. The customer named the tongue meat dessert to eat. But Ryan suddenly realized a few herpes at the base of the tongue. Such ingredients cannot be used to make delicious food at all. Imogen threatened him to find a way. Otherwise, cut off your tongue and put it on the top. Just as the two were discussing what to do, unable to wait, Alice walked in again. Not for a while. Fresh snake meat desserts are served smoothly, but because the ingredients are not tight enough, there is no such dish. Ryan personally came forward to express his apologies to the other party. In fact, it is to secretly pass information. Soon the sheriff made an excuse to go to the toilet. Ryan immediately told the other party everything, then quickly took him into the murderous basement, and he didn't hesitate to blow himself up to tell the sheriff. Just because Ryan found out, he's nothing more than a replaceable object at any time. When the sheriff saw this, he vomited in nausea. He's ready to call for support, but found that the mobile phone was left on the dinner table and not taken. And at this point, the customers who have finished their meals are ready to leave. In order not to attract attention, Ryan decided to make the sheriff wait again. He went over to find a chance to get the phone back. Then he lowered his head and walked over carefully. But his clients raved about his cooking. He said he already wanted to taste his next dish quickly. In plain sight, Ryan doesn't act well either. And what he didn't know was, everything you do, Detective Ruiz has already seen it clearly. Soon the sheriff heard movement outside the door. Next second, when Ryan gets the phone back, he only saw the figure of the other party's tragic death.
Found him in here. He was just waiting.
Desperate Ryan didn't dare to struggle anymore, and Imogene hacked into the network to steal. The sheriff's social media accounts posted a message in his name. Content: evidence of nephew and lover fleeing to other countries has been traced. Decided to go and catch the guy in person. Let the family not worrying during this time. She doesn't ask for this. She can hide it from the world. Just a little delay of a day. The company can be destroyed. All the traces they left behind, Imogene says. The superb cooking last night attracted the attention of many customers. The next dining order has been reserved in advance. It will go out in an African country a month later.
We'll be so busy. And so rich.
The money-hungry Ryan just sneered. Let the other party put the tracker into his own body, just because he understands his own final outcome. Not collapse like Jack, just being silenced after screwing up a dinner party. He may not be able to escape the clutches of the other party in his life.